Yo, what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 412. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez,
What's up, people? How's it going?
Chris Seeley,
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero,
Yo, yo, yo.
Adam Vale,
How you doing? How you doing?
and Brett Murdoch.
What's up, people?
All right, people, you already know, man. Throw down your questions. Jump right into it. We got a lot of them. So somebody surprised. Good stuff. Oh yeah, by the way, for the Americans who celebrated it, hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Good stuff. All right. First up, Mob Hits. What are your thoughts about the rumor? Okay, so it's just a rumor, people. What are your thoughts about the rumor that Microsoft might not have any game announcements at the Game Awards because of the acquisition issues they're currently facing? Do you guys think the earliest we'll see something will be at next year's E3?
No.
I don't know, man. It's a rumor, so who knows, bro? You know?
Yeah, it's a rumor. I can't really comment on anything like that. I mean, to be
believe
honest,
like that.
if they don't have something, like
They're gonna have Starfield. They're gonna have
Gotta have
yeah.
something.
I mean, at
gotta
least
have
like,
Carlos already.
Gotta have
That's it.
something.
No,
I mean, like, they
462 studios. One of them has to have, even if it's a phone game. Somebody has to have something ready for launch.
Senua's Sacrifice was announced at the launch of the, like when it was first, announced that the Xbox was coming. Then it's been a while since they have to at least have something on there.
Oh, Xbox will have a presence. I believe that. The rumor, it sounds like bullshit, to be honest. You know.
Yeah.
And again, we try not to comment too much on rumors, so
I've heard rumblings that from semi-serious places about at least part of that kind of being true. Not that they delay or not announce a game. They're just, from what I heard, like they're not making any unnecessary announcements because they're not trying to tweak the optics to look right now like they've got a whole lot of stuff because of the acquisition. So they may just be not going hard on their advertising, which is kind of a half measure. But I believe that way more than they're not going to announce things or they're hiding things. I could just be them, see them saying like, we're not going to arm this opposition to the acquisition by talking about Fable, right?
Yeah.
Nobody knows about Fable. Nobody's talking about Fable. Fable's not slated to come out anytime in the near future. So we're just not going to talk about that. So the only thing we might miss is like the CGI trailers. That's it. It's just a CGI trailer because none of the game has been developed. They may not be building hype.
To that extent, because I was just thinking this. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that this is a thing that's happening, right? Maybe like for Starfield, we won't get footage. We'll just get Todd Howard coming out, and he loves making appearances at these shows. So,
well, no, like Senua's Sacrifice and Starfield, like we know that shit's coming. What I'm saying is the shit that we know that's in the pipeline but hasn't really been announced, or like Fable is the best example I have. We're not going to hear anything about that. Whereas usually we hear some bullshit about like, oh, don't forget, Cyberpunk is coming in like 8 more years kind of thing. Like we're just, I think, going to get a little bit less of that.
maybe
They're not going to want to announce, 6 titles that they haven't announced before to have, Sony turn around and be like, see, they're coming out with 6 new titles now. Like,
Well, the one that they're not coming out with is another Call of Duty because that's taking some time off. So they don't have to worry about hearing some shit about that.
Yeah. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Toon Medic, Michael Santiago. He's actually joining us tonight. He goes, "What's up?" And he subscribed for 2 months, so appreciate that. He says, "What's up, Throwdown? I'm on night shift with my baby girl, so I'll be feeding her and listening to you guys. That's awesome." Yeah, he just recently had a girl, so congratulations to him. and his wife.
Congratulations.
Congrats, man. Very cool, very cool. My man Blitz, what's going on, brother? He goes, of all the games they showed at their first series console showcase, how many have actually released?
A few of them.
Like what, fucking Halo? Like
No, Dust
We'd have to
Falls,
look at the
Dust
video.
Falls, that one came out. That other one, what was it called? So many. I played a few of them.
okay, so we have had some games then.
Yeah.
But again, these one haven't been, I guess, chart toppers or whatever. I can't. Halo. That's the only one I could think of. Like big games.
I don't even count that as a chart topper.
So Is the rumor that Microsoft might not show up to the Game Awards? Is that the one?
That's what it seems like.
Okay.
I think that's bullshit.
Yeah.
I think that's bullshit.
There's no
I mean,
way.
they could at least show Starfield. I know Jeff Keighley would Jeff Keighley would be happy with a sizzle reel for Starfield.
Yeah, Todd Howard, man, he'll come out. Say something.
Yeah, Todd Howard show up with his fixed up hair and shit. And
he's Bethesda's biggest mascot.
he is. We don't know what he does.
It's like Mario.
It's like Miyamoto.
Mario.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. 'Cause again, this is a rumor, so we don't want to give it too much credence.
No, I don't see it. I don't see that having anything to do with Activision because they have so many other studios. So even if they didn't show up, the spotlight would be on just the fact that they didn't show up. They're like, well, what happened? You got all these studios and you have nothing. So no, it's definitely going to be there. Now the question is, what will Activision show? Because a lot of their projects are sort of in like a limbo and with development and other things going on. We saw what happened with the Tony Hawk, and that was a big hit, but then they expanded that studio to do stuff for Call of Duty and some other stuff. So they're not going to continue that one. So,
here's my question: what's the functional difference between like only or not announcing and announcing games that are not going to premiere between now and E3 or whatever, right? Like, if we're gonna have a major show between now and the release, what's the benefit of bringing stuff up into the news right now?
Hype.
Yeah, but I mean, it's more hype than you're just gonna build at the next show. Like,
you're talking about
what is going to be the next show? Yeah,
probably E3.
Yeah, so this is December. Yeah, that's a lot of time. So.
I know. But what I'm saying, like, in a hypothetical world where they just really focus on the stuff that's releasing between now and next E3, and are just going to kind of, let the other stuff sit on the back burner. Like, do you guys think there's any relevance to that, or do you think that just the whole idea of them changing their strategy based on this lawsuit is ridiculous? I'm kind of trying to figure out where in severity y'all stand.
I think that last part is silly. I don't really buy into that they're holding stuff back because of. I don't believe that at all.
No, I don't think so either. I mean,
you just have too many studios.
And the only reason they wouldn't show up in the VGAs is if they don't want to show Starfield and they have nothing else before E3, which is good. It's plausible. I mean, I wouldn't put it beside them to only have Starfield released the first half of next year. So, yeah, the Activision Blizzard stuff, it has nothing to do with this.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. All right,
it's the fact that they don't have games.
Yeah, exactly. All right, just like with Sony. Let's be real here. All right, with next question from Mob Hits. With the back and forth between Jimbo and Uncle Phil continuing to escalate over Call of Duty, has it gotten to a point of no return in their relationship? Do we have a straight-up console war brewing? I don't know about all that, but things have definitely gotten heated between the two. Because remember, unlike what some of the fanboys think on Twitter, these guys are actually friends with each other and stuff. They go golfing, all that other shit, right? But obviously, this has put a little bit of a wrinkle in things because Jim Ryan is very, very upset about this, being very salty about all this. So. Yeah, I'm pretty sure when next time we see each other, it'll be cordial, obviously, because they're professionals, but, it may not be as warm as before.
Yeah, if Uncle Phil offers to get you a drink at the bar, don't drink it. That's how that relationship's going to go. He's like, yo, you need anything? I'm going to the bar. No, it's okay. I don't want piss in my coffee.
Yeah, I don't really have anything more to say about that. What about you guys?
I think people are human. As much as we talk about, people are professionals and a lot of these guys are friends. But I don't think the friendships are necessarily in the executive boardroom. I think that's where some of the animosity is kind of brewing. I think that people are human. I think to not be upset about the shitty actions of your competition is going to be a little bit difficult no matter how much you try and pack it away.
Yeah, and as what we said, it's like, yeah, these guys may be friendly and all that, but when it comes to, money, That's when things change. Jim Ryan is afraid of his money being fucked with. So here you go.
I don't know. Obviously, I don't know their relationships, their private relationships, but I would say they're more cordial instead of friendly. Because I don't think just looking at it from a million mile view from all of this, it feels like Jim Ryan and Phil Spencer wouldn't even be the type of people that would hang out with each other. Just looking at their personalities.
Yeah, and it's mostly Jim Ryan. Let's be real here. Like I could see Uncle Phil hanging out with like Sean Layden.
Yeah. Or Shuhei or that.
Yeah, exactly. Andrew House, Gio Corsi, although the guys that actually made PlayStation 4 dope. Were no longer with us, in the PlayStation 5. So now we have this fucking guy, who by the way, if you've been listening to Throwdown for a long time, I've never been a fan of Jim Ryan, I remember I made a Tony's Take about calling him out for his bullshit, saying that nobody wants to play old games. They clearly do, And now it's funny because he was talking all that shit, and now what's PlayStation doing? They're bringing back all their old games via these subscription services. So I've never been a fan of this guy. Again, consistency, people.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Worst thing that's happened to Sony in 20 years, and it might be the downfall from their significant lead.
Yeah, we'll see.
Entirely on that asshole.
The problem is, it's all working right now. So they're not gonna.
Well,
you know how like
not according to Jim Ryan.
No, it's not. No, but I'm saying like in terms of sales, it's working. Like with the PS3, they ate that humble pie real quick when nobody was buying the fucking thing. But PS5, everything's selling. The games are selling. So they're not learning any lessons here. That's the problem.
I would say that this whole thing kind of says otherwise. Like if they weren't worried about their market share and they weren't worried about the competition, they wouldn't be pitching such a bitch fit.
Yeah, I don't know.
And according to the statistics they put in, they've been losing the lead.
Yeah,
that's admitted by Sony in their report. So
yeah, they've been losing the lead, but to Microsoft, but they're still ahead of Microsoft. So
they're still ahead. Yeah, well,
I'm just saying Sony doesn't have a lot of leg to stand on here when literally they're talking about we lose Call of Duty, we lose all this money. God of War just sold 5 million copies. So miss me with that bullshit, Granted, 5 million is not Call of Duty, but still,
but how many copies of that shitty Pokemon game sell?
Yeah,
you want to tell me that's amazing material as well? Like I don't, as much as I like God of War, I don't.
Yeah, but we're not talking about the quality. We're talking about just money and sales figures. We're talking about that, which is what these companies ultimately care about. They don't care about quality. Why do you think Fortnite's so big? Nobody gives a fuck about the quality. That game sucks, but it's big.
My point was that I don't think that the sales numbers mean it was a good game. I just think it means gamers are hungry because they don't have anything.
Yeah, well, no, that's a whole other thing. But the point is, for Sony's perspective, hey, we're making money, or at least the investors, they're making money. That's all they care about in the end. That's all I'm trying to get at.
Mm-hmm. They're always concerned about making more money.
Yeah, well,
right?
that's the capitalism works, bro.
That's they're not concerned with making money. They're concerned with making more money, and that can lead you to some stupid decisions.
Yeah, it's also true. All right, let's move on. Next question: Black Metal Gamer. All right, we'll get back to some of these are more evergreen questions, but these are fun. What gaming cliffhangers aggravated you the most, and which cliffhangers never got resolved in video games?
God of War. God damn it. The first one.
Oh, you mean those post-credit scenes? Like
the first one. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Like seeing the Marines go on the Pandora's temple, and you're like, oh, there's a future one, and
No, I'm talking about the 2018 version.
Whoa, be careful.
Left up on the hieroglyphics. That pacing was almost as bad as the Hobbit movie. I still fucking contend that should have been 1 or 3 games, not 2.
Wait, God of War 18 had an ending though. And like the thing with Thor, it got resolved in the next one, Yeah,
no, where it ended was the end of Act 2. It wasn't a full 3-act story.
Right, I disagree with that. You know, they accomplished their goal to spread what's her face's ashes. That was literally the whole goal of the game. They did that, so there you go. So, but you know, if that's to you, that's an unresolved cliffhanger. That's cool.
I didn't say it was. I mean, it's resolved now. I hated the pacing of it.
Okay,
Right? Like I
fair
thought
enough.
you just got to the good point. You just told me the story. You just brought in Thor. You just brought the climax, right? And then like it just kind of ends there. And I get it because you're saving some stuff for the next game. But again, if you look at story structure, that's the end of a second act.
Yeah. All right. What about the rest of you guys?
Star Trek Republic Commando. Star Wars, sorry. Star Wars Republic Commando. That ending was awesome. You got everybody jumping on a plane. You see Yoda. He's like, all right, get ready. We're going to go do this. We got this other battle to go to. And then they never made a sequel. They left it alone. Mm-hmm. That was an awesome game. And I'm really surprised they never returned to that. It's sad. I'm sure there's a few other ones, but that one always comes to mind. I love that one so much. And then recently, just like past year or two, they made a port to, was it all the consoles or was it just for Switch? One of those. But I was disappointed because I thought maybe that would help boost interest in wanting to see a sequel, and it did not. Getting one.
Wait, you know what? It needed co-op. It needed actual co-op. Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Yeah. It would have been co-op, 4-player co-op. Bring that on. Great. I don't know. Revisit that.
I can't think of anything.
Well, I think, and Carlos will probably agree with me. Halo 2.
Finish the fight.
Finish the fight.
Yeah, finishing the fight that he didn't finish.
Yeah, that was gonna be mine.
It goes to credits.
Yeah, but he went to drifting. They found him drifting in space for 3. Remember?
Yeah, it's just it was a great game, but that cliffhanger, it made you seem like, oh shit, it's gonna keep on going. Nope, not today. Yeah,
I have a question. If the cliffhanger gets resolved, does it count?
Because there was 2 types of questions in this one. It was which cliffhanger you hated the most, or something like that, and which one didn't get resolved.
Okay.
So obviously the Halo one did get resolved, but it still pissed. It pissed a lot of people off because it's like, God damn it! It made me excited for something that didn't happen.
Yeah. Because like I wanted to say God of War 2, but it literally got resolved in the beginning of God of War 3. So I don't know if I could count that, even though I did feel frustrated. I'm like, fuck, But I don't know. I personally wouldn't count that because it got resolved.
Well, they're 2 different questions, right? Like there's loose ends, and there are some people that are just tragically guilty of that. But I think the more pertinent question to there is like which ones did you hate where they left off? Like I'm perfectly fine with God of War now that it's kind of picked up. I wasn't super thrilled with where they left off.
Yeah, because I was annoyed with the way 2 ended. You're climbing up the mountain and shit, Mount Olympus. Zeus, I'm coming for you. Like, you motherfuckers, you can't stop there. But again, it got resolved. So do I really have a right to I had a right to complain back then, obviously. You know what? Fuck it. That's my answer. God of War 2. There you go. Even though it has that asterisk, it got resolved. But I was pissed. I was like, when you watch, Best of Both Worlds, Picard gets turned to a Borg, you got to wait a whole summer, to
see the resolution.
Yeah. So,
it's like, watching Dragon Ball Z and you have to start back in the first arc.
Shit, Yeah, okay, that's my answer. God of War 2 then. Anybody else?
As far as cliffhanger that didn't get resolved, can't really think of one.
Yeah, that one I can't think of.
I want to think of Dead Space 2 because they didn't really bring it up in Dead Space 3. Because remember they had that crazy thing happen on the ship when he left the planet.
People are saying Alan Wake in the chat.
Oh, that's true. That's.
I don't even remember what happened.
I didn't play American Nightmares, but they didn't address anything in that.
I don't think so.
All right.
But Dead Space 3 did have, the DLC had a cliffhanger, and that will probably never get resolved. With the whole idea of convergence is that the moon is actually composed of necromorphs, and that all the moons are alive.
Oh,
So
man.
I'm like, wait a minute, you're setting up this whole thing with the moon, and it goes nowhere because there's no Dead Space 4. There probably never
Well,
be
we could
one.
all crack the joke. What about Mass Effect 3? We're waiting for that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't a cliffhanger though.
That
was
could be a
bad
cliffhanger if
ending.
you didn't like the ending. So we were waiting.
Logic Win says Killzone 3 never got resolved. Has anybody played that?
I played it. I have it in wrapping. Remember, I found that one, but no, I still haven't played it.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on here. Good question.
I only played the multiplayer for that one with torrents.
Torrents.
The throwdown days.
All right, Black Metal Gamer, another question, kind of similar to the last one. With all this talk about God of War Ragnarok being DLC to some people, it made me think about which sequels were drastically different than the predecessors. I know we got that a lot during the NES era, but can you think of any modern games where the sequel was way different than the original? So obviously we can't bring up Zelda 2, Metal Gear Solid 2, Mario Brothers 2. We got a more, like I guess within the last 20 years,
Where the sequel is better than the original.
No, different, radically different.
Radically.
Where you're like, yo, how is this a sequel to this game? It's different.
Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, that was different than 3, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The
That's controls. True. They got rid of the tank controls.
Power Stone 2. I was like, yo, what the fuck did they do to this game? They made it more like Smash Brothers-y, which you already know how I feel about Smash Brothers. It was not good. Power Stone 1 was fucking amazing, incredible game. Then you get the sequel, you're like, oh, what the fuck did they do? What other games were radically different sequels? Resident Evil 7, yeah, that does count.
Yeah, Resident Evil 7, is definitely one of them.
Yeah. That does count.
And God of War was part of the question, right? Because
no, he used that as an example. Dragon Age Inquisition felt different from 2. It was still basically the same, though. Still basically the same game.
I think Fallout 3.
Well, yeah, obviously, right?
Yeah, it went from isometric to
by that vein, can we cheat and be like Final Fantasy 7?
By that vein, can we cheat?
Definitely. That was
you can.
A different game.
And by that, can we cheat and answer for Manny and say Red Dead Redemption?
Yes.
What
that was different than Red Dead Revolver.
What the ending to Red Dead Redemption?
No, man, you were off. No,
sorry, I'm trying to solve an issue.
The question was which sequel was radically different than the original. Red Dead Redemption would absolutely count. That's very different than Red Dead Revolver.
Red Dead Redemption is definitely a totally different sort of game. The only similarity is the fact that you have the Deadeye thing from the previous one.
Yeah, so that counts.
I'm thinking of one that you two should have thought of.
Metal Gear. Which one?
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear Solid. That's absolutely different. Hold on. Let's go back.
No,
because it was still kind of isometric-y.
No, it's sort of.
Well, it wasn't 100% isometric. It kept switching like camera angles.
I mean, I wouldn't.
The other ones were absolutely that way. They were 100% isometric. You had to play the game.
I wouldn't say, at least for me, I wouldn't say Metal Gear Solid because it's essentially still within the same lines of game. I would say Metal Gear 5 is a departure from the previous games because it's an open world game.
Well, I'll give you that. Yeah, it was an open world game, but I'll give you from Solid Snake to Metal Gear Solid. There's a vast difference in the storytelling and the way they interact. Also, you have music, cutscenes, camera.
Yeah, but I think Metal Gear Solid is more of a realization of what the first Metal Gear was trying to do. Rather than it's like, oh shit, what the fuck? Like they just changed the genre. Like it's still the same genre. You know what I'm saying, Chris? So I think it's just a refined version of the first two real Metal Gear games. We're not counting Snake's Revenge.
Well, then Resident Evil 4 doesn't count because if I take a camera and pull it behind one of the characters, then it's Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. What
Right,
about
so-
7 then? Because that's just the same thing. Just
No, just put it's like,
Yeah.
well, then, we're splitting hairs now. It's
Yeah,
like,
we are,
okay, if I
yeah.
just move a camera around, then none of the
Yeah,
Resident
you're right,
Evil things
yeah.
count.
By that vein, you're right. Resident Evil 4 and 7 aren't actually radically different.
Yeah.
They're
Does
just
Final
refined.
Fantasy 15 count?
With the exception of the control type. I mean, that's the control and the camera type.
Yeah, but but like Red Dead
Yeah, they
Redemption,
haven't-
that's
they-
very different than Red Dead Revolver for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. That was different. And I'll agree with Mania on 5. Like, Metal Gear 5 changed everything, like having the open world and all that. That
Well,
was
that was like
But
the
Chris-
Grand Theft Auto 3.
Chris, by that vein, can't we say that about Elden Ring?
Oh,
it's
no,
not a
that
sequel?
Elden Ring.
Because that's still the same. It's just bigger, And
Well,
just like Metal Gear
that's what
Solid
she's
5,
saying.
it's the same, just bigger.
But
You
but
know?
Elden Ring is not a sequel to anything.
It's not. You're right.
Yeah,
Not
it's
a
not a
sequel.
You're right.
It's a
Yeah.
spiritual successor.
Yes.
It is definitely a spiritual successor.
You're right, man. You're right.
You mad George Railroad didn't write the other ones?
Yeah, right. GTA 3 was very. Yeah, here's the thing about GTA 3. You can still play it isometric though. They still had that camera angle if you wanted it.
And
Mm-hmm.
GTA
Did
3
they?
was more than 20 years ago.
I don't
So
remember
yeah.
switching.
Yeah.
does Final Fantasy 15 count?
That's a good question because it's like not turn based anymore.
Yeah,
I mean,
then
that's a big fundamental
Fuck
difference.
it.
Right?
I'm accepting
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
we'll allow it.
But the thing is with Final Fantasy, that's always kind of been their thing. Every sequel is different than the last one. Because like if you play Final Fantasy 2, you're like, what the fuck? This isn't like the last one. Then you play 3, you're like, oh, this is different. And
even-
you play 4, like, oh, this shit is different than the last one.
Or even doing something like Warcraft 3 and then going to World of Warcraft. It's like it's a completely different game,
Yeah.
different genre.
That's I mean, it's not a sequel, but yeah, that's the idea behind this question. I think we're like, yo, what the fuck, All right, good stuff.
Yeah.
What's up?
I was trying to think of in shooters like Wolfenstein. I think. Well, actually, yeah.
Yeah,
If I go back, like Duke Nukem 3D, because the first two were side scrollers.
Yeah, this got brought up twice in the chat. Yeah, Final Fantasy 11 and 14, for obvious reasons, very different.
Are those MMOs? Right?
Yeah, they're MMOs.
Yeah, those are the MMOs.
Yeah. Castlevania Lords of Shadow. Ooh.
Yeah, because it's trash.
It counts. Yeah, because it's basura.
It's in the trash genre.
Ugh. All right, man.
Some have
what's up?
some have regrets if you think of the Serious Sam games that went to mobile and turned them into side scrollers and some other bullshit.
Oh, why would they do that?
And to make a buck, that's why they
Why?
Oh man, better
Better
why?
why.
Yeah.
All right, man. Good stuff. Good questions. All right, next up, Jay Shep in the house. All right, he goes, I'm still leaning towards the Activision Blizzard deal being done, finalized, whatever. But worst case scenario, how detrimental would this be for Xbox if this deal doesn't get done?
What do you mean well, there's a bunch of variables then if it doesn't get done, right? It's like, well, what happens to Activision? Do they decide to start selling off IPs?
Well, the question is, how would it hurt Xbox? That's the main question.
It wouldn't hurt them. I mean, this is something they weren't even looking for.
Yeah.
They were presented. Activision said, "Hey, guess what? We're for sale. You got money." That was it. It wasn't the other way around where they're like, "Damn, we got to buy them or we're gonna sink." Yeah, it wasn't that case. And then, if anything, they may get bitter and say, "You know what? Let's just buy somebody else's for sale." Hey, Ubisoft, how much? 50. Okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't really hurt Xbox because again, who was their parent company? It's fucking Microsoft. The amount they paid for this is like fucking pocket change to them, So I don't think it wouldn't really hurt them because they didn't have Activision anyway,
Yeah.
So here's the thing: like, where does that money go? Does Activision have to give it back?
They don't have it yet.
They don't have it yet. They have it.
Probably like an escrow or something like similar.
Yeah,
Like
it
it's
hasn't
in
been
hold.
exchanged yet. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on hold. Maybe PayPal's holding it right now.
Yeah.
So the transaction's complete.
Yeah. So yeah, it wouldn't hurt Xbox. All right, moving on. Next question. A recent report claims Xbox is making quote unquote long awaited upgrades to the Series X.
Oh yes.
So Adam, I guess you can answer this one first.
I'm
What
scared.
type
I'm
what
scared.
type of upgrades do you guys want to see?
Well, what I want to see is something. Well, two things. One, I don't think I'm going to see it, but I'd like to see more of the wallpaper, just more of the background. That's one of the things that I loved about the PS4. We didn't get that much. We didn't even get that in the PS5. They removed that feature. That sucked.
Like those live themes and stuff like that.
More, yeah, the dynamics and stuff like that.
Yeah,
They have
dynamic
some,
themes.
but they just let it go. They don't do anything. Every once in a while, they'll sprinkle one in for like the 20th anniversary and all that. But I remember some really cool ones that were on the PS4, and I was hoping to see more on the PS5, and they never did it. So I would like to see that on the Xbox. Another feature which it just baffles me that it's not there already, especially with the whole online integration and with Azure and all this stuff. How come we can't do any remote play? Remote play is not there, like share play.
On Xbox?
Say. Yeah, share play.
Oh, share play.
Yeah, the remote share
Yeah.
play feature, that whole thing. That is awesome. And
That's a good feature on
that's
PlayStation.
a great feature. I love that. Remember, we've talked about, you're playing a game on board. All right, let me just jump in and watch
we've
what
done
you're
it.
playing.
Serious.
Yeah, it's great.
It
great
definitely
feature.
is a great series.
See, if they could add that feature, those are the ones that they're working on. They just released now. I don't even know. Does PlayStation have this? I know Steam has this because I get the emails, right? Got to get those emails. But now, if you and they've been trickling out little updates, but the main one is coming in March. But this one is for the wish list. So now, if you add the game to your wish list, right? Not only do you get a notification, but your friends can then see all the games on your wish list, and then they can buy a game for you on the wish list. Right, just by clicking purchase, and then poof, then that person will get a notification. Hey, your game tag friend over here just bought you this game. Now just download. That's a cool feature. That's something that you can't do. Besides, can't do that on PlayStation. But when it comes to the new features that I want to see, though, is pretty much that remote play. I want to see more of my background. Bring back the more dynamic features, and that's pretty much it, because they fixed up a lot of the issues that I had before with it, which was all the crazy ads, the lack of creating folders.
Slow.
Yeah, it was slow, it was sluggish. I felt like every other month they were releasing another update to fix how slow it felt. I'm like, yo, this console just came out for the Xbox One now, and it had a lot of it. So, but they've scrubbed those, so now it's all about building and adding. So they select few people already have it in the development program, and they're under embargoes. Can't really do too much, but they could say like yes and no to certain things on the subreddit. And I haven't heard any comment about the features that I want. Other people are also looking for it, but it looks like they are making changes to user interface, the home screen interface. I don't know if we're gonna have the ability to shuffle things around like we want, but they definitely are making changes with the tiles. You know? I mean, nothing could get as bad as with the PS Vita with the bubbles. So I don't think they're going to go that far out. I think they're going to stick with the tiles. But remember, they only went with the tile system because they were trying to make everything look integrated with Windows 8.
Yeah.
And so that was that whole thing. But we're past all that many years later. So they could just do a fresh reboot, and they've done it before. For those who had the 360, they'll remember we had the Blade, and then from the Blades, then they had that extended in distance imaging where you can see your full avatar looking all nerdy, and then you see what game they were playing. And then after that, they went to the tile, and then that tile got upgraded. We're still with that now, so who knows? But the other thing is that they're sending out a few different ones. Like that's from other people saying that they're part of the program. They're like, well, I'm getting a different, so maybe they're dividing it up and like, hey, let's say example, just Sony, you're getting this home screen UI. What do you think of that? And then you are getting this other one, and then just trying to get feedback. But we definitely know it's coming in March. A whole new interface, a whole new look, the refresh, the big up.
What about any hardware upgrades? What do you want to see?
Hardware upgrade.
Yeah, like maybe specs or anything, some bumps there, like anything.
Oh, like if they make a new model.
Yeah, but
let's
just yeah, I
if
don't
they
know.
build on it. Yeah, they can't really build. Add more storage, like make another
something like that.
SSD. Yeah, I mean, because they got the same thing like the PlayStation. They got a 1 TB, 2 TB. Got one of those, but not, and so I'm trying to think what else. Maybe if they can bring an official racing wheel. Like I was just talking about it off air. Remember that? Do you remember that?
Of course, he would say that.
Yeah, because I was just talking about the racing. Because I was looking at the Logitech, the 920, the 20, and I was thinking about because I did own the 360 one, and damn, what happened? Why didn't they make another one? Another fight stick. I'm looking forward, but I think Street Fighter probably have that covered. Remember, Street Fighter 5 was not on that box, so this is a big return, and I would think that they would try to go all out. Another champion edition fights. Cool to see something like that.
Let me read some of the stuff. This Xbox Wire posted. One piece of feedback we heard from you is that you want to see more of your stuff like your pins, games, and backgrounds. In this experiment, we are adding additional customization capabilities, and we'll share more on backgrounds soon. So that's one.
Yeah. Because the thing what people want to do is because we have these tiles that have like pins. Like he just said, the pins. Well, what if we can just hide them? Just hide all of that. Can we do that so we see the background and maybe just one thread of just our most played games? Like let's say I'm currently playing. I have 5 games, or whatever. That what I just want to see that. Can we just do that? And so we'll see. All right, keep going.
Recently, we introduced customized games and groups, including pins, to our experiment. Now we are making your stuff even easier to access with new layouts of your chosen content. We also added a new personalized games list to home. Well, we've also heard of various feedback, including wanting to see more of your custom background. So we're on it. Stay tuned for more info. So yeah, some stuff. By the way, I obviously am refraining from answering this because I don't have an Xbox console and I don't plan to buy one. So I don't care what they do.
One of the cool things that I do like that they have integrated with the Edge browser that's there, you can go and browse. But if you type in the browser any game that you're playing, like I typed in Modern Warfare 2 4K wallpaper, right? And of course, just like on the PC, it pops up all those images. But the cool thing on the browser that's on the Xbox is that you'll see the little dots, and then you click on it, and one of the options says, hey, set as your background. So then I'll get to see this awesome 4K image of Ghost, or Soap from Modern Warfare 2, and then I just click set the background, and poof, there it is. Now I got this beautiful 4K background. It's beautiful. I can only see the head and stuff because I got all these boxes at the bottom. I would like to hide all that shit, so that way I could see the full image, him standing. But yeah,
I don't know, man. If it was up to me, I would want Dutch to have a major facelift.
Major facelift.
I just don't like that interface. It just looks. Like you said, it reminds me too much of Windows 8, and I didn't like it.
Well, that's what I'm hoping that they would change it. They'd change it. I would even take a retro version, not a retro version, but an upgraded version of the Blade system. That could work. They could still do everything and have everything animated forward or whatever, then still do the Blade. I would love that. Press it with the left and right bumpers.
Yeah.
Go back.
Yeah. Anybody else? Xbox Series X changes? That's a no, so we'll move on. What are we up to here? Dumeke, who's been joining us tonight as Blitz. All right. Did anyone partake in some Black Friday shopping? If so, what gaming goodies did you get? Toon Medic also asked us the same with regard to Cyber Monday. Yeah, baby. Got the 2 terabyte hard drive or SSD, for PS5. Been waiting to get this shit since launch, but it cost like $400 or something. So when I saw this shit, yeah. So I was like, I'm not paying that, So when I saw this go down to $189, I'm like, ooh, that's tempting. But I held off. I was like, all right, I don't really need this shit. I'm good. Then it went to $179. I'm like, all right. Pull the trigger, and literally when I bought this shit, it went up to $199, which made me feel even better about my purchase. So yep, gonna be. So now I'm good. I don't think I'll be alright with PlayStation. I will say, in terms of ranking, like the difficulty of putting this in with other PlayStation consoles, this is number 2. PlayStation 3 was the hardest one, right? This is second hardest. PlayStation 4 and Pro were the easiest. They were super easy. Like this one, it's not difficult. It's just like, you got to like pull that fucking. You get scared when you pull that faceplate off. By the way, because they just like, you know. But all the unscrewing, that's fine. It's fine. Whatever. It's that faceplate. It makes me feel like I'm breaking the console. It's not smooth at all. You know. But yeah, this is since the PS3 I've always switched out the SSD or HDD back then. It's just that I would have done it at launch, but I was like, I'm not. I just paid $500 for this fucking console. I'm not paying another $400 for fucking memory. So yeah, that's all. And I was telling myself, like, don't get nothing for no Black Friday, man. Fuck that shit. But I saw them like, I gotta get it, gotta get it. Never gonna get it. So yeah, that's what I got. Anybody else partake in capitalism this weekend?
Not really anything gaming related from me over here. Just sort of like practical things, and like I bought Drifters.
No, man, that's a game.
It's not a game.
Oh no, I thought it was a PlayStation 4.
It's a movie,
that's how much
man.
of a gamer I am.
It's a movie, man. I mean, yeah, I really, to be honest, like the only thing that I had my eye on, at least for now, is that you can literally all PlayStation 5 controllers are $50 right now. So you can get like all the new ones as well as the camouflage one. When I always have my tradition of always having to pick up a camouflage controller from every single one that I own. So
nice.
That was the Xbox I just showed. I have like a PlayStation 3. I have a PlayStation 4 one. So it'll be nice to have one for the 5. But right now, there's no that's the only thing I can see myself buying gaming related. I have pretty much everything I'll ever want for now. Maybe my mind will change when there's actual games that I really am interested in playing for any of the new consoles.
There you go. All right. Anybody else picked up anything gaming related during Black Friday, Cyber Monday? Because
So
Cyber Monday started today.
Oh, it did?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I kind of started on Saturday night. Hey, Black Friday's over. That's it. So yeah, did anybody pick up anything?
I picked up stuff for the Steam Deck. I think it's just stuff I already had, but I would like to play on the go. I picked up Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Nice.
That's a fun one to play on there. What else? Red Dead Redemption 2 to play on there. That was like $15. Like, all right, I'd double on that and just play that. Triple dip, I should say. Just like I did with Grand Theft Auto, because I own that on everything now. What else? One Finger Death Punch. Got that one. My son wanted it on the Xbox. Yeah, because I have it on Steam.
It's not on Game Pass?
No, it's not on Game Pass. What else? Anything else? I think that's it. I would love to get The Division to play on the Steam Deck, but it requires always online connection, and that sucks. It's like I don't want to have to worry about if a signal drops if I'm at work somewhere else, and then it disconnects me, and it goes. But that was pretty much it.
Yeah. Anyone else?
No. This year I stayed pretty calm. Said, there's nothing I really need. So, nothing for me.
All right, cool. All right, next question, Mr. Tumeke. What would be your ultimate world premiere moment at the Game Awards? Get imaginative. Listen, man, earlier today, I was like, I asked a question on Twitter. Because how, there's a lot of reaction channels out there or whatever. And I was wondering, how many of those reactions are genuine? I was just wondering about that. I was like, how many of these are just put on for the camera? I'm probably all of them. Because there's like, who does that? The only person the only person I know like that in real life is like Hip Hop Gamer. We've gotten a Carlos.
We got some of that. It's like it has happened, but it's never been. It's never been like to that level. When I say the biggest reaction I've ever seen was when Charles Singletary was at E3 with us,
Yeah.
and they announced Final Fantasy Remake and Shenmue, and the dude was losing his mind. It was like his first E3 he went to.
He went nuts, man.
He was losing his mind.
Yeah.
So,
and we've had our moments here, on Throwdown too. Is
Yeah.
that gameplay?
Yeah.
You
Is
know,
that
that's the
gameplay?
ultimate.
Yeah. So,
And, and Xbox, is that Xbox? Is that an Xbox?
Yeah.
We've had that, but I was just wondering about that. I had one of my friends, Erica. Eric Cuts for the Win. She big time streamer. She says that she actually she articulates what's in her head and feelings, like because she says if she's by herself, she's quiet, but she's hyped up inside. So when she's on stream, she purposely puts it out there. So she's not faking it. She's just articulating for a world. So I'm guessing there's some other content creators that probably do that as well, which is interesting,
I mean, I think you have to figure out where you draw the line of authenticity at, right? Like you just said, like if you're sitting home alone, you're not gonna react, right? And I imagine just about everybody, at the very least, they're not censoring their reactions the way, nobody's acting the way that they would if they were at work or if they were just sitting in their living room with a couple of buddies, right? Like, I think it's just, in that instance, people probably just let it go because you don't want to go to a reaction video and see somebody not reacting, right? Like, so I imagine people, kind of like you said, they explain a little bit more, they kind of put it out there a little bit more. I don't think any of it's really disingenuous. Well, I don't think most of it's disingenuous.
Yeah, there's some bullshit too.
I think it's just an amped up and I think this is the same way with a lot of influencers and personalities. I mean, apparently not around here because I guess none of us give a fuck. But I know a lot of people who, they turn it up from 7 to 10 when they get on the camera, and that's just how they roll. Yeah. Tony is honestly this stubborn, and I am honestly this curmudgeonly.
Yeah. This is true. But anyways, so I bring that up because I'm using that as an example of what would get me to become one of those influencers. Right?
Money?
No. For a world premiere, right? You tell me you're giving me a new Soul Reaver, I'm fucking done. I will become one of those. You're gonna make a thumbnail out of me. It's about to get real. You announce that shit, I'll be so fucking happy, man. I'll be good. You'll almost get the same reaction out of me as when they announced the Panzer Dragoon remake. I went fucking crazy when that happened. So you give me that shit, I'm done. It ain't gonna happen, but he said to get imaginative, so I'm getting imaginative right now.
So let me ask you this, Tony, because I'm kind of on the other side of the fence on this one. Like anything that I would get that excited for, I'm also immediately that skeptical of.
Oh, I'll be skeptical as a motherfucker. Don't get me wrong. I'll be skeptical as shit, especially with the quality of media in general being crap now. I'll be very skeptical, but for a while, Brett, I'll be happy. For a little while, I'll be happy. Just let me have that, please.
Fair.
Before 5 seconds later, I'm like, oh, they're gonna fuck this up, aren't they? I still remember Nosgoth, you motherfuckers. I didn't forget that.
We haven't forgotten. Yeah. Never forget Nosgoth.
Yeah, Jesus. New Legacy of Kain. So it's multiplayer. Oh, what a fuck! That's like telling me that shit is it's mobile. Remember that shit with Splinter Cell? We got new Splinter Cell coming. Oh shit, let's fucking go! It's mobile. Dick just went womp womp. Lip as shit. Oh man,
dude, I know one. They announced Monster Hunter World 2.
Oh
yeah, that's
Throwdown reactions. We're gonna have to make a whole new channel after that. Yeah. Oh no, and Brett, we have a good track record with Monster Hunter World, at least.
That's what I'm saying. Like that'd be the one where I'm like, oh yeah, no. There's even if it's just more of the same. Like yes, let's do this.
I can't right now, man. I'm just thinking about it. All right. Let's just go another line here. Adam, what announcement? I'm answering for you, man. Rockstar Table Tennis 2. You would lose your fucking shit.
That would be a miracle. That would be a miracle.
I got another one for Adam.
I got another one.
I got another one.
I could see that happening is if they reveal, of course, Grand Theft Auto 6, and then they go into a gaming hall or something, or an arcade that they add in the game, okay, whatever, and then they say, hey, you want to play some table tennis? I lose my shit. That's it. That's when I was like, oh my God, I'm going to buy this game just to play there. I hope it has a live experience, so that way you can go in and remember like the PlayStation Home and see people, and you'll just see me playing ping pong the whole time. That's it. I'll forget about the rest of the game. Wouldn't give a shit. And hopefully they have a leaderboard and tournaments. That'd be.
What's the other one? Carlos?
He probably ready.
The next Call of Duty, the next Gears of War.
No, the Gears of War.
This is it. This is it.
But Gears, because it's been a while, and then Gears decided they wanted to wait because they were doing everything with the new NVIDIA and
Unreal Engine.
The Unreal Engine, and they showed off some of that just to tease everybody. Like, this is the reason why we're waiting. This is why we're doing it, because the game is finished. According to them, the game is finished, but then they wanted to port everything to the new engine. They wanted to use the old one, and they were working with Epic on it. So, hoping to get that next year, but we haven't seen it. Just those little snippets. So I'd get hyped for that. But definitely table tennis. There is no word on it. That's dead in the water. That's one IP that
that's what I'm saying. So if they do bring it back, man, you'll be doing double flips and shit right on camera.
Yeah, that would be it. That's so upsetting. Out of all Rockstar games, that one actually got released and people liked it, and they just flipped it.
I got another one. Carlos.
Carlos, the game.
EA comes out. We got a new Burnout.
Oh, Burnout Paradise.
Excuse me, a new Burnout.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
You got some things that you would lose your mind.
Yeah, man. There's some. Burnout Paradise 2. Let's fucking go. And I wouldn't even be that skeptical about it. I'd be like, oh, this is gonna be good.
Imagine this. It's the Video Game Awards. Jeff Keighley announced it. He's like, I have a word from the Capcom team. It looks like they're working on a game, and it's like this badass trailer for Monster Hunter World 2, and then it says on the Switch.
Oh no!
That shit will kill me.
That would rip my soul out, man.
You mean like Monster? You mean like Monster Hunter Rise?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh,
exactly. Monster Hunter Rise.
Oh, imagine that shit, man. Burnout Paradise 2 exclusively on the Switch. I would hurt. I wouldn't play that shit. Fuck that, man. I'm not. Damn, Carlos, you putting thoughts in my head down, man. New Soul Reaver coming only to Switch.
Streaming on the Switch.
Oh man. Chris, you got anything?
Not really. I can't think of anything. I mean, even if they said you know what? If they said Bloodborne 2, I'd get excited.
There you go.
That would excite me. Yeah. I think about it.
At this point, people would just be happy to get Bloodborne on PC.
Oh yeah.
Been waiting for that. 60 frames. All right.
Or even something like Elden Ring DLC would be pretty interesting.
Well, I think that's coming. I think there was some guys who cracked the game open, and there's DLC markers in there. So I think that's
get ready, man, because those From Software DLCs are more brutal than the main game.
Yeah, right.
Brett, what about you? What would make you go crazy?
I was the one that said Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter. All right. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. And Manny, nothing will get you crazy. You're not that type of person.
No, not really. I mean, we'll see.
What would make you go like this?
I mean, there hasn't been anything.
I know what it'll do with Manny. Any game that you actually want to buy on PS5, like, oh.
Yeah. The game that actually makes me pay to buy a PS5 or an Xbox.
There you go. By the way, Manny, PS5's in stores now.
Good.
More readily available, so that's nice.
That sounds good. All right.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid Collection for current gen would be very nice. I'd appreciate that.
It would be nice, but it's not going to happen.
Especially not no Metal Gear 4, man. Fuck.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, Metal Gear 4. To be honest, here's the kicker for that one. Like, the only good company, the one great company at doing ports of PS3 games, to 4, is a Sony first party company now. So they're not going to be doing any more of that, the only remasters or reports of games that they're going to be doing are just going to be direct PlayStation titles,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
unless they can somehow square away a deal with Konami. But even Konami can't even keep their shit together because what was it? They had to pull all the Metal Gear franchise games off of all the stores because of licensing issues with music and all kinds of other shit
Oh,
that's in there. And
Yeah.
they didn't decide to keep all that stuff in order in what is it? How many years since Kojima was there? Anyway.
well, yeah. I mean, they could get Blue Point to do it. Jim Ryan would be like, "Is this ours now?" You just take that. We'll take that.
We will buy this from you.
No, we'll just take it. He's not gonna buy it.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Assyrian Air Force. Hey, everyone. I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. First question. If the Activision Blizzard deal fails, there's a little bit of a reverse of the other one. If the deal fails, do we as gamers still benefit? Will games continue releasing to all systems since they'll still be third party? They're going to be third party regardless. They're not third party. They're going to be releasing on other consoles anyway. Microsoft said that. They're going to keep releasing the games on other systems. So I guess the question is,
Did they say that or just Call of Duty?
they said
Because it seems like they know
existing deals will be honored. You know,
Yeah, exactly. I don't
you know how that goes.
Yeah,
So yeah, he's wondering how if the deal fails, how will gamers benefit?
Wait, what? If it fails?
Yeah, if the deal fails, how would that benefit gamers?
It wouldn't. Because the whole point of
Will
this
it benefit
is that
PlayStation guys? They don't have to worry.
Yeah, PlayStation,
Yeah,
but it wouldn't benefit gamers because according to what Microsoft wants to do, they want to put a lot of these games on the Switch. And if you're a Nintendo fan, then there you go. You get some great ports over there.
No. Adam, I read the issue statement. Sony specifically said it benefits gamers if it doesn't happen.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah. Well,
I don't know how.
yeah,
It just
exactly.
does.
Yeah, I don't understand how it would benefit gamers other than PlayStation guys know they're going to keep Call of Duty. You know,
Which is funny because we got a lot. I mean, you and many, and I don't know if whoever else is like, you don't really, you like your PlayStation. It's your primary. But you're not Call of Duty guy.
I don't remember the last Activision game I played. I'm just talking about in general. I don't.
I
like,
haven't played
Destiny 2 probably, but think about that. Before Destiny, I think the last Activision game I played was fucking Spider-Man or something. You know, like I don't play that company's games, so it doesn't matter to me. You know,
and I don't see a lot of the community. I mean, you would see it on your thread because the PlayStation guys. Do you see a lot of people even upset about all this? Do they care?
They're mad. The thing is, guys, I mostly just see fanboys. They're mad that they're losing ammo in the console war. That's what they're mad about. And obviously, the Xbox says, "Hey, fuck you, PlayStation guys. We got Call of Duty now. You ain't got shit." You know. So yeah, you see that nonsense.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't think I remember the last one I played.
Yeah, I don't play Activision games.
I mean, the Sekiro was something that Chris played, but I never played that before.
Yeah, I never played that.
No, Skylanders, they were doing that shit for years. Crash Bandicoot
you didn't
4
play the
and all
Tony
the
Hawk
other ones.
remake 1 and 2. You didn't do that.
No, I didn't play the Tony Hawk remake. I'm waiting for Aggressive Endline to come back.
You'll never get that one.
Yeah.
Actually, the last Activision thing I played was with Brett, the re-release of Diablo 2. I guess that counts because it's Blizzard.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to play the Ultimate Alliance games. Those were Activision. You know.
Yeah.
Didn't Capcom take those over?
I
They
don't
took
know.
them back.
Did they?
Yeah, the last Ultimate Alliance game was actually a Capcom game or something.
Was it? Oh, that's
They
interesting.
got pulled, that's for sure. They got pulled.
Yeah, X-Men Legends, you know. Yeah, the superhero stuff I play from Activision, but I don't care about Call of Duty. And I don't care about Overwatch. I don't care for those.
World of Warcraft.
I don't care about the company's games. Really, you know. All right, let's move on. Next question. What would everyone like to have multiple subscriptions on their system? For example, PlayStation Plus and Game Pass on PS5 and Xbox Series X having the same things. Here's the thing. I don't even find most of these subscriptions worthwhile. I unsubscribe from Game Pass for a reason, you know. And PlayStation, I just keep it going because for the online. That's about it.
I don't know, man.
So I don't really. It doesn't really matter to me one way or another.
Yeah, for me, I don't really play. The only reason why I keep the PlayStation one around is just to keep the online
Yep.
rolling. But I don't know. I just none of them have anything that I find worth playing. But I mean, I guess, and to be honest, I hate having all these damn subscriptions. Everything's a fucking subscription. You gotta for the store to buy shit, you gotta have a subscription. For movies on each of the different companies, you have to have subscriptions. I mean, I don't know. I just like to keep it simple. Just a few subscriptions and then that's it. And I just deal if I don't get I don't get FOMO like like most folks get when they see some shit going on some other place and they really gotta have it. I just like, all right, it doesn't exist for me.
You mean you didn't join Hive, Manny?
What?
That's a no. I wonder if anybody got that joke.
I don't know. I mean, oh yeah. So yeah, there's everybody going over to Hive now.
No one's talking about that shit now, are they?
Why? Why even go to that silly platform? And just because you don't like whoever's owns the shit. There's a lot of people that are shit boxes who own these big old companies, but you don't see any of them. I guess it's because they're quiet. Right? You don't have a douchebag rich guy just saying whatever the fuck he wants because he can. Anyway, yeah, I don't. I really wouldn't matter to me because I just I don't. I find subscription services as very cool as they are, as the amount of things that they can offer. Like Netflix or something like that. I find the biggest issue in the end ends up being what time I want to invest in what is on there. And I feel like a lot of the time is spent just looking for something to do than actually doing it or making a legitimate decision. Me, I'll just like, all right, this game looks good, I'll go buy it.
Yeah.
I'm possibly the people I'm the type of gaming person or gamer or whatever you want to fucking call me that doesn't fit their little narrative of shit. I'm not constantly swallowing what they have to offer.
Fuck them. Now I'm kind of the same way. I'm like, okay, you have all these games on Game Pass because remember the whole thing about Game Pass, like, oh, you could try all these games you wouldn't normally. I'm not that type of person. I know what I like. I'm not gonna try shit that I know I'm not gonna like. It's a waste of my fucking time.
Yeah, so, I don't really want. I'm like, okay, so what is this garbage?
So I'm gonna try these little garbage games that I know I'm not gonna like. How's that a good?
I'll tell you who it works for. I'll tell you who it works.
No, I'm talking about for me.
Yeah,
for other people, obviously that's fine.
No, I mean, again, like here's the thing: if a person is just looking for quantity over quality, you can definitely go with that.
My time is precious, though, man.
It's if you have a bunch of people in the house, it definitely helps with the kids.
Oh yeah. If you have kids,
their attention span to anything is we all know, like when we were young, we had a game, and then what happens? You spent $60 at the time. Still, it's like $50 you get a game.
Nah, man, I feel
when we were kids, we played that one game for like a fucking year.
That's what I'm saying. That was it. That's all you had. But at least with this,
it just makes it. It just I don't know. It sort of makes the medium sort of disposable. Just like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, and you're speaking subscriptions in general, don't you?
Just makes it just. I mean, I can understand the even though I think it's a bunch of bullshit what Sony's talking about. Oh well, it's going to lessen the strength of their properties and that sort of stuff. I think if given whatever time if it ends up being a thing, then they'll make that decision. But I don't know. I just feel like in general, it just sort of makes these things sort of disposable. And then it also jumps into the idea of that you won't always be able to play the shit that you buy. You buy, or you have, you only have a limited time access to them, because they got to clear the floor to put in the new shit.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess for anybody else, would you like to have both of these subscriptions available on your console of choice?
Meh.
All right, I think that's a good way of ending.
Well, that's the thing. Unless you do first parties, they're just going to be the same service. because that's
Yeah.
really what makes them different. So
You're
the
right.
fact that Microsoft does it all, and now if PlayStation did that, I'm sure a lot of Xbox fans would be, especially ones that don't have a PlayStation, be like, "Oh, damn! All right, I'll pick it up if I could jump into God of War and Infamous and all that."
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Hey, Brett, I hope you're around because I want you to answer the next question. I'm pretty sure it's going to get you worked up.
I'm here. Let's do this.
All right, this is from Kishak, who's joining us tonight. All right, and let me finish this question first. A little long, but let me finish it. Elden Ring was nominated for the Best Narrative category on the Game Awards. However, is lore scattered around on item descriptions really a narrative? If I had to go to a third-party YouTuber like Vatividya and listen to their interpretation of what the story was based on random voice lines and item descriptions, I think the game didn't do much to develop a cohesive narrative at all because it's too convoluted. If you had a survey of 100 people who beat all the games in the category, I would bet more people could recount what goes on in those other games other than Elden Ring. So, Brett, does Elden Ring have a narrative or not?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not even nearly as obscure as the other Souls games. I mean, everybody knows at least the very basic story of Elden Ring, I feel like.
Yeah, here's the thing. I think there's some misunderstanding between narrative and lore. Yes, the lore is hidden. You got to dig for it. The narrative is pretty straightforward. The world's going to end and you got to fix shit. There's your narrative.
Well, also, it's. I think a lot of people kind of have this weird block where they're like, well, it doesn't have a narrative. It just has all the things that I did. Like, yeah, they breadcrumb experiences in front of you, and then they kind of daisy chain them together in a way that creates your narrative. But just because it's not a static narrative doesn't mean it's not a story, right? There are 6 different endings. There's a multitude of ways to go through the game. And that story that you have when you're done, that's your narrative. You don't need to read all the lore. You don't need to read all the text descriptions. You don't need to watch a video, especially on this one, to understand at least the basis of what's going on.
Yeah,
and
I didn't read any of that stuff, and I understood exactly what was going on. Here's the thing: the game obviously doesn't present things to you like it doesn't spoon feed you. It's not like Here's the thing: I'm gonna just say this. I think people have just been too used to like MCU shit, and like anything that's not conforming to that, it's like, oh no, this is not narrative or whatever. I saw this one fucking review of God of War, right? That literally goes, I'm gonna write this review and based on how it relates to the MCU. Are you fucking kidding me?
Wait, what?
Yeah,
does it make sense?
Yeah. By the way, it was a certain polygonal site that did that. But my point is, like, I think people have just been so conditioned by these simplistic type of very overt stories that when you see some of the Elden Rings, like that's not a narrative because it's not told in a way they would understand. Or not understand that they're not used to, But it obviously has a narrative. And by the way, I said, man, I'm sorry, I'm going off on a rant right now. And this is why I was so pissed off that people came after Gene Park over this shit. He eloquently explained how Elden Ring does have a narrative, and all these fucking idiots, a lot of gaming journalists came after him. A man who's going through fucking cancer surgery and shit, fucking assholes.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna say this. Like, as far as the From Software of narratives, this is not that far from anything they have previously done.
It's the same basic plot of all those.
It's the same basic thing. And I'm gonna say this, as well written as all those games are, and they all have very interesting, intriguing narratives. The only reason why this fucking game even got nominated is because of George R.R. Martin.
Uh-oh.
I don't think so.
No, it is.
Yeah, I disagree.
Because
I disagree.
What makes this any different than the Demon Souls or any of the previous games? Because all of those have really intriguing narratives. We'll give
Manny. The difference is no. By the way, the difference, Manny. The difference is this sold way more. There's all popularity contests.
Yeah, it is all a popularity contest. And what does that look good? How does that look good to have on your magical little award show that doesn't really give away awards?
Oh, I got
having a famous author on the top selling video game.
Yeah. Oh no, we said this on Throwdown. This game will win Best Narrative, and George Martin will be there
And
to
George
accept.
R. R. Martin's going to walk out. He's going to walk out on the stage and accept that award.
Whoa, Manny, he can't walk. Come on.
He's going to float. He's going to be like he's going to float.
He's going to come out on a horse.
I was going to say he's going to float in like Harkonnen.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Here's my deal with this, and I think it's fine that people want to criticize this, but when people want to get into criticizing it for story structure and narrative and things like that, like it really helps to actually know a little bit about writing, even just a cursory amount, instead of just, taking a novice approach to it. I understand a lot of people say, I didn't get it, therefore it's bad. But that doesn't mean that there's not substance there that you didn't get. Part of the type of game that it is, like part of the narrative itself is you have no idea what the fuck is going on. You're just dropped into this land and you're trying to get your bearings. Like that is part of the story. There are a lot of stories like that. A lot of times they're more horror or suspense stories, but it's a very slow reveal, right? You started with a very close pan, and then you pan out and do a lot of world building as you do until the the reader finds themselves in kind of the same place where they're actually learning about the culture and the reasons, and that's the big reveal. It is a completely legitimate type of story.
It is a narrative,
The thing about it is that what it differs, and which differs with a lot of From Software games, is it doesn't spoon feed you the narrative of the game. The final boss and the question of the duality of that character. It's not overtly said.
Yeah.
No.
By the way, we all agree the game has a narrative, right? We all agree on that.
No, the game does have
absolutely.
a narrative. It does have a narrative. But I mean, again, like I just the only thing is I call suspect on this because of just the plain factor of it being one of the top selling game, and the fact that George R. R. Martin is in there. Because to be honest, I feel like any of the Souls games from Software could have been tossed in that narrative category if they were going to go down that line.
They weren't as fleshed out and they weren't as accessible is the only thing. And like, again, when you have more people playing it, it's more accessible. More people understand it, more people like it, more people kind of vote on it.
I think the one thing about like the From Software games is the fact that they don't force the narrative on you. You can be just as happy playing the game, being oblivious of whatever the narrative is, or you could delve deep. It is the way their games sort of work. They give you the option to delve in if you want to, but if you don't, that doesn't really affect your game or your
the older games used to give you a little more to go on the start, like Demon Souls. Like you see the guy cross the fog, and there's always a lady at the shrine at the Firelink or the hub or whatever, or the Nexus, and telling you what's happening. It's like, hey, the old ones is a demon, and then King Alot did a thing, so go kill him. And you're like, okay, I got it. All right, that's a guy. I gotta go beat him. But there's a lot of shit in the way between that before I do that. And then so Elden Ring, now you have this open world stuff, but like Brett said, there's like you're dropped in, and then there's pieces you put together. Like you'll meet a guy outside, and he's like, hey, how you doing? Watch out for that big guy over there. And there's something going on at that castle over there, so you might want to check that out. And then you start building things up from there. And if you want to explore other stuff, you could go, later for that castle, I see a beach over there. I'm going to go over there and see what's going on over there. And then eventually you get to this ice place and you get your ass kicked. And it's like, oh, wait, I went too far. I got to go back to the castle and kind of deal with that. And there's all sorts of lore, I think, and there's a confusion between lore and narrative, because it's like, do I need to know why Caelid is full of scarlet rot? No. I just need to beat the giant guy on the shore over there to get his portion of the ring to keep going, so I can become Elden Lord. It's like, I'm going to become Elden Lord? Okay, where is that? That's where I'm going. I'm going that way.
How do I get to the Elden Lord?
Yeah.
A thing I want to point out, like it's not uncommon in a story for your protagonist to not necessarily know what's going on, right? Like they're learning about their situation. It's only a very video gamey gimmick where you now have a Mimir or something like that that's going to explain every little thing to you. And I'm not saying that's the wrong approach, I'm just saying, in traditional storytelling, both approaches are valid.
But I would say that it is not often done in something like film, or in mainstream film, or in video games.
No,
And I
that's
feel,
absolutely
and I
not true.
think, I think that's the reason. That's the reason why the backlash is happening, is because you have a bunch of people who are essentially used to having the narratives, essentially going down the funnel and clicking the check boxes, and and receiving the narrative.
Yeah, and Manny's right on that, because look at how many developers screamed at From Software about the success of the game, and they're like, "Hey, you're not giving people markers, you're not giving people waypoints, you're not giving people codexes and all this stuff." They were going
Exactly.
crazy. Like, how do you make a game like this, and why is it succeeding? It is because people are curious. If you build a mystery, people are going to go try to solve it. They don't need a giant beacon in the sky going, "Oh, I guess I got to go there."
You don't need NPCs telling you every second on how to solve a puzzle.
Yeah, right. It was like, how
God,
does the lady at the bakery know how to beat this boss? Like,
Yeah. Well, I want to give an example here. Like, I just rewatched the movie Oblivion. Has any of you guys seen that?
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's a great movie. Yeah.
It is.
The Tom Cruise movie. Okay.
It's the same kind of story, right? You get thrown in and you're watching Tom Cruise do a bunch of mundane stuff, and then he has no idea what the fuck is going on. And then along the ride with him, you slowly discover the true nature of the world. The setting is an integral place to the story, right? Like, and I'm saying it's a little bit different in video games, but that's essentially what they're doing here. They don't need to. You don't need to know what's going on the whole time. In fact, sometimes it's better if you don't, because they can slowly kind of reveal the world to you, and then you get your twist, right?
But I feel like even with Elden Ring, like at least in something like an Oblivion, there is a general direction of what it's like. Okay, the world that you think is that exists currently is wrong. But then once you're going down that road, you sort of discover the right way, or he discovers the right way. Whereas
that's literally the story of Elden Ring.
Whereas in Elden Ring, there's so many splinterings of it, and it really doesn't tell you what, like, obviously which way is the right way. It's whatever you think is the sort of thing. You could choose to destroy the world. You could choose to try to resurrect it, or you could try to do all these different things. And none of them seem, like they could be the right answer.
Well, I mean, it follows the same.
Because like with anything, like even with life, yes, there are those questions that are the right answers for you, but that may not be the right answer for everybody else.
Well, no, it follows that exact same. Like, you start out given the task to go become Elden Lord, to go help the world, and then as you go on, you realize helping the world and being Elden Lord it's not good for you, and it's not necessarily good for the world. That the person who actually holds the Elden Ring is a shattered psyche of a prisoner. It's kind of a classic horror twist of, okay, so I'm going to go become king. Well, the king is just somebody that has life sucked out by their crown or some stupid bullshit like that. Like, the very basic element is there. I think there's just a lot of other elements in there that can tack onto it, and it makes it maybe feel like a disjointed narrative to some people, but like the core element of careful what you wish for, it's all intact.
Yeah, it's definitely monkey's paw sort of deal, But yeah, I again, like, I don't think that it's not deserving to have been nominated, but I also, again, I feel suspect because of just the clouding or the fogging that is around this.
The fog, huh?
Yeah.
Oh man. By the way, real quick, I need to address something Kishak says. So should every game be more like Elden Ring, because it seems that you guys like the direction? No, by the way, that's Twitter mentality, that black and white thing. We are saying that there are different types of narratives out there, and all of those should be welcome. We shouldn't just have that one type that we have now. We should have different types. We're not saying that. By the way, that's very like reductive. Just going, no, you just need to have this and that. No. We got to have all types.
Yeah,
I can like different things. I don't need Colonial Marines in Alien 1. It's a whole different kind of movie. I like them both.
Yeah. By the way, you want to talk about sequels that completely changed direction. But yeah, for movies, I would have been an easier answer. But anyway, yeah, Elden Ring obviously has a narrative. It's just that's the typical type of narrative. It ain't God of War where you have the fucking head telling you everything every 5 seconds.
Yeah. You don't have like two. You don't have a head and two other NPCs telling where to go and throw your axe to solve the mysterious puzzle that's sitting in front of you. You said
perhaps if you throw your axe, brother.
It's apparently a lot of people are don't actually like the hand holding that the game does.
I wish it would have given you the option of or maybe a slider. You know what I'm saying? Turn it off.
Remember Uncharted did this, and I think The Last of Us also did, where you would get in an area, and if you spend too much time trying to figure it out and not figuring it out, then it would throw up a marker. It wasn't always there, but all right, you have it to mistress. Here you go.
Let's just be honest. I love God of War, Ragnarok, and the puzzles. They're nothing to scream about.
They're
busy work.
Hard.
I actually mentioned that in my review. I'm like, these puzzles for the main story are very fucking simple. Because I'm not only am I thinking about the old God of War puzzles that made you think, but the side quest puzzles are more interesting. And by the way, in those the characters don't tell you nothing. So that's very appreciated. They don't tell you shit. They'll just congratulate you after the fact. Hey, good job.
Good job. You figured it out.
Yeah, but so I wish it would have given you an option. But anyway, Elden Ring narrative for sure. Moving on. Next question, also from Mr. Kishak.
Wait. I was going to say one more thing. People just want somebody to be like, "This is the plot of Elden Ring."
Yeah. They want a narrator. Yeah.
They want a narrator to tell you everything that's going on.
Well, and also you got to understand, Elden Ring actually had a kind of semi-story as compared to the other Souls games. This one had more of a story than the other ones did.
Yeah, it was more overt.
Traditional stories where it's telling you, oh, this is where you come from, the Tarnished, and this is Katana.
Yeah. It's Katana. All right. Next question. When the price of Game Pass inevitably goes up, what is the absolute limit you can possibly afford to spend on Game Pass before the price is too much for what it's offering? And if Sony wasn't on top right now, do you think they'll have already raised the price of PS Plus? To answer the first part, nothing. I'm not. Game Pass, I don't even know if I'm going to ever subscribe to that again. It's a waste of fucking money. Like Manny said, I'd rather just get my games and that's it.
But it's for people that just don't want to buy.
Yeah, I'm talking about for me, Adam. For me,
no, I get it.
Yeah, I'm talking about for me. I think I'll just buy my games. The Game Pass is a waste of fucking money, for me. So no, they could raise it up to $50. I don't care. I'm not subscribing. What about you guys? Whoever subscribed to Game Pass, what is the limit where you're like, okay, nah, we're good?
I think it depends on what they're adding. Because last time they increased it, they added EA games, so they added that EA places. They add Ubisoft. They have the what you play.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I don't know. I would think $20 maybe, $25. I can't imagine going higher than that.
Yeah, I think 25 is my magic number too.
Yeah, 25. Okay.
Because if the way I look at it is this, right? If I'm not on Game Pass and I'm buying a video game every couple months, right? That used to be honestly pretty slow for me. I used to sink a lot more money in this fucking hobby. One game every 2 months, not bad. So if I'm, playing video games constantly and every 2 months I'm paying $50, still coming out ahead a little bit. It's tough to quantify though, because I end up playing a lot more games than I otherwise would on Game Pass. It's not just straight up, this is how much I paid for this game and I would or would not buy this game on its own. It's kind of the same thing with Netflix. I'll give a lot more things a chance and find out things that I'm like, oh, that was really cool. Like Midnight Fight Express, really dope game. Generally not in the market for paying for a lot of indie games, but it's nice to, just have it there. And if I can cut out one streaming service and save $15 a month, I'd say it's a better use of my money.
Yeah. I have a buddy. I have two buddies actually back in New York that they don't buy games, period. They just have Game Pass, and I'm like, all right, what's a good co-op game that's on there? And we played the Fire Team, and we were playing Halo Infinite, and all.
Man,
those
you know
games.
Butterfingers.
So yeah, they don't buy any games. So in that respect, it works out for them. They're like, well, I'm saving money because as opposed to them buying a game. And
Yeah, in that situation, it makes sense for sure. And then the second, well, go ahead. Go ahead.
I have breaking news.
Oh, breaking news.
I have been subscribed to Xbox, to a form of Xbox Live, a paying version of Xbox Live since 2004.
Damn.
Oof.
That's gonna end this December.
Oh, Tim.
Oh, it's over.
Oh, shit.
The dream is over. It had to end. Yeah. The reason is, and it's related to the question of Game Pass. I don't want to pay $15 until I want to play a game that's on the service. So, for example, my grace period ends in December because that's when I had, like you paid $1 with all the things, and it got Ultimate. So that ends next month, at the end of next month. So I'm not going to be continuing the service, but I will pick it up once Starfield comes out, or whatever game that entices me comes out. But let's be real, it's going to be Starfield. But then I'm just going to go at it, at a month by month basis there until let's say I'm not playing Starfield after that 1 month, then I'll just cancel it again and wait for the next game to come out. I'm not like Brett. Brett's like what he answered earlier, where he mentioned, it makes me play a lot more games that I otherwise wouldn't have played. But for me, I don't really do that. I'm not that kind of gamer.
Yeah, I don't do that.
I'm only interested in the games that I want to play, because those are the games that motivate me to play video games these days. So it's that. So Adam, you have an excuse for me not playing Halo Infinite with you after December.
There we go. We sent you the message.
Tell me this. This is a dilemma that I went through with Adam Vale this weekend on Friday, Black Friday, after Thanksgiving. He texts me at 10 p.m. asking if I want to play video games. I'm like, I wasn't even there. I wasn't even home.
Right. Anyway, I didn't hold you. That was it. I was like, all right.
But I'm like, yo, man, tell me like 5 hours before, maybe I can make some time.
This is just that's just when we play. We always play Friday nights, Saturday nights, late nights, because people doing other things and we jump on. So I wasn't sure, and he was like, "Yo, you're gonna play this?" I was like, "Oh, well, let me see if Carlos is around."
Bob Hit says you were busy making tamales.
Man.
By the way, Brett, got a question for you, sir. From Blitz, he goes, ask Brett if even though he plays more games, does he feel playing them is worth his time?
I mean, okay, a little bit of a personal thing. Like, over the last several years, I've been through some traumatic shit. Lost some people I like, and that does some stuff to your brain. The best way that you can combat that is to exercise it. I'm a big believer of the benefits of video games, hand-eye coordination, critical thinking, all that stuff. So I actively set time aside to play video games. It helps keep my hands fresh, my wrists fresh, everything like that. It's basically a workout when I'm not tattooing. So yeah. I mean, playing video games in general is good for me, and I'm a big believer in active entertainment versus passive entertainment. Right? Like, watching TV is all good, but like, the average person spends between 3 and 4 hours a day watching TV. For me, that's just too much to just sit there and zone out without using my brain. So I seek out video games, and on that note, yeah, I do think it's worth it because I end up having a good time. And if you want to break up, how much fun I'm having over how many hours versus how much I'm paying, it's a hell of a lot cheaper than a lot of forms of entertainment.
No, good answer.
So, but I'm different than a lot of people. I think a lot of people are more in line with Carlos, where they see something, they get excited for it, they play that, and then they're done with it. My only criticism with that is, like, that approach doesn't generally work with like music or movies. Like I only watch the movies I want to watch. Like you never watch a movie.
You dare criticize me?
Brett, I'm like that. I only watch the movies I want to watch. I only listen to the music I want to listen to. I'm the
So
same way.
when do you try new things and find out new tastes, or do you just stick to
Brett,
the
I'm
same
40 years
lane?
old. I've tried everything. So, I'm good. Like, I know what I like, and I cut out the bullshit,
More than 40 now.
Yeah, that's true, 42, yeah. I've tried, like, again, there's not a lot of variety out there. There's a lot of the same things. I'm not going to like a horror movie. Like, I don't really care for those. Those are like the cool 80s slashers or something, You can't.
You changed your opinion before.
Yeah, I mean, I'm human, but there's not, at this point in my life, there's nothing that's going to get me to, like, see the world in a radically different way. It doesn't work like that. I have my ways, and I'm setting them, and I'm happy with that. There's a lot of people out there that aren't really true to themselves. I'm true to myself. Like you said, Brett, I'm actualized, sir.
It's as you get more people in your life, and they have different interests, and you want to experiment and try things out.
I don't.
And so that happens.
I don't. I'm good.
Then you don't have these people. That's what I'm saying. It's just certain things that happen in your life that will expose you to new things. And you can't just say, I don't like it. You will give it the benefit of the doubt. If you meet someone.
No, I can't say I don't like something I've never experienced before. But if you go, hey, Tony, do you like salmon? No, I've tried it. I don't like it.
That's different.
And I won't change my mind on salmon.
Yeah, I'll respect the whole. That's a good-looking salmon that you cooked. That that's very well done. Not my thing.
Tony does not like macaroni or noodles at all.
Yeah,
and there's nothing that will change that. Like I
know what I like.
Years
yeah,
ago,
it's only weird though because like in terms of like Tony doesn't like indie games except for the games that would now be regarded as indie games when he was growing up. He liked those.
Here's the thing.
Indie games didn't exist when we were growing up.
I think
all games were indie games.
No, they weren't, dude. They were actually big budget games. Those were those games back then. You can't use modern standards into the past. That's fucking stupid. I hate when people do that shit. Don't do that.
I mean, we talk all the time about how games have a budget that's many times larger than they used to have, right? I mean, in terms about investment, even adjusting for inflation.
Yeah, but again, I've played all these type of games. I want more. It's like, okay, those graphics were cool back then. I want to see some crazy shit now. I'm older. Those things don't fly anymore. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So obviously, in that way, yes, things have changed, but it's still the same core thing. Back then, I wanted to play the most graphically intensive games possible. I still want to do that.
Do.
Yeah.
But I mean,
graphics have changed.
but then you play Ninja Turtles, which is literally a total throwback to those types.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because those games are grandfathered in, obviously.
But I mean, I would say this. I don't think you utterly hate indie games. I think
I don't hate them. Again,
I think if something that comes across your table that is within your interest, then you will play it. That's the way I look at it too. I don't say I overtly love indie games, but if something comes along that says, "Hey, this is interesting," that catches my eye, then I'll play it.
Here's the thing. But real quick, because this is what people don't seem to understand. Because again, everything's just reductiveness now. Mm-hmm. I've been reviewing games for 12 years. The majority of the games I have played and reviewed have been indie games. None of them have been on the level of a AAA game. I've played a lot of great indie games, don't get me wrong, but the best indie game has not even touched my favorite AAA games. It's just my preference. And I don't see what the hell the problem with that is. That's just the way I am.
But the thing
like
is,
Limbo and fucking Fez, fantastic games.
But nobody's saying that you should do this. And you said this yourself, that you're not representative of the greater whole. Yeah. And nobody's trying to talk you into doing this. And just in general, people tend to change. And also...
no, Brett. I've come to accept that people, they're not as locked into their way of being as I am. I understand that. But I'm just saying, I know what I like and I know what I don't like. I will try something I purposely know I don't like just to fuck it. Think about it. I don't like roguelikes, right? But I gave them another shot a couple years ago. Guess what happened? Still don't like them. I'll probably try them again in a couple years. I probably still won't like them, but I'm giving it a shot. You know?
Yeah, well, and there's nothing wrong with that. And keep in mind, the beginning part of this conversation is kind of predicated on Game Pass. Like I don't go out there and just throw $20 at every fucking game just to see if it's any good. I'm not fucking. I don't have a Twitch stream. I don't have anything paying for that shit. But if I'm paying for Game Pass for games, like I'm already playing Grounded with friends. If I'm already paying for Game Pass, like why would I not try these other games? Like it's a different point of view, and of course that's going to motivate different kind of behavior, right? So I'm not going to be compelled to just go out there and be like, I love indie games. I'm going to try all kinds of new games because who knows what I might like and just throw money around. But like, if it's there, I don't know, looks interesting, I'll check it out. It's much less of a heavy decision, I guess.
So Brett,
Yeah.
going back to the original portion of the conversation, I'm kind of the opposite of Tony. He has his ways and I have my ways because I feel like it was kind of interpolated into your premise of the reason why I'm not into Game Pass the same way you are. Like for me, it's not about trying new things. It's about deciding what to spend my time on those things. And for me, it's like video games. I'm pretty sure there's hundreds of video games that I'm going to enjoy. But for me at this stage of my life, it takes a lot more for video games to entice me to play them. So, if people rave about one video game and it's like, oh, like it's a roguelike or it's a RTS or it's something, I might try it. But as far as having Game Pass and just trying out each and every game to see if I even liked it, then that's a stronger barrier for me. Not saying that I won't like it. I'm not set in my ways like Tony is about, definitive, I'm going to like this, I'm not going to like that. But I do decide where to spend my time in different aspects because, video, like I mentioned in the past, video games is not my number one hobby anymore, like it used to in the past. So
yeah, and you're not trying to spend time playing video games the same way I am either. I'm sure you're perfectly fine, like hanging out watching TV or reading a book
or going to the club and smoking weed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. Moving on here. Good segment there.
Going to the boonies.
Who is this? Who is this bored person asking a question tonight? I don't know.
Like you trust him.
Yeah, right. Question is, if Naughty Dog ever made a live service game, how would you feel about that? Brett, for no reason whatsoever, I think you may give some context to this question.
Yeah. So from what I heard, Naughty Dog just posted a job looking for people who have experience with monetizing AAA games, and they also just hired one of the lead guys that helped make Fortnite. He was in charge of creating their Battle Pass pricing and reward strategy. Just got hired on at Naughty Dog too, and so it's seeming like it's very possible that The Last of Us 2 multiplayer that's coming out could be a free-to-play game. And that's definitely a little something different for Naughty Dog, and it's something that generally is felt a certain way about in the industry. So I know none of us necessarily regard Naughty Dog as the darlings they once were, but how would you guys feel if they came out with a Last of Us free-to-play multiplayer?
I would feel the same way as any company coming out with a live service game. Imagine if they made Monster Hunter live service game.
Oh,
yeah, that's how But here's the thing: with Naughty Dog, it would be lesser because I never cared for the Last of Us multiplayer or any other multiplayer, so I don't care. But I would be as upset about that because it's like, oh, you guys are following the bandwagon. You're doing the same bullshit as everybody else.
Tony, I would say that would be bullocks.
Wankers.
By the way,
again, I would be, Brett. I know. Here's the word. I'd be very disappointed.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
I think that's worse than being mad if you think about it. Because like I expect better from you. What are you doing?
I have a twist.
I
have a twist to this. What if this is because if they make I'm pretty sure they're gonna make another Last of Us, and it's gonna have to be story based because there's no way in hell they're gonna try to sell an actual Last of Us game or a Last of Us Part 3 and it not being a single player narrative game because that's what sells the freaking games.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. So, Brett, did you hear this about the multiplayer game that's coming out? Is that what's going to happen?
No. The things that we know are they posted the job looking for people with experience, and they hired somebody who that was their entire job before. So it's fairly safe to say that they're going to be leveraging their experience in some future project. It's just kind of...
Again, remember, the multiplayer is coming, and there have been rumors that it may be some battle royale type of thing.
Yes.
So this
it's factions.
It's factions. So I think factions is going to be the live service shit you're referring to here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying real hard not to speculate, but there's a lot of indications that that's the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they released the remake to Last of Us Part 1. They didn't release factions along with it. So they've been pretty tight-lipped about about that because they said it is coming out. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's the way that that it comes out as a free-to-play kind of type of game with battle royale aspects and all that stuff. And to see what my reaction would be is I'm probably not going to play it.
I mean, I wasn't going to play it regardless. I don't care, but yeah, I'm disappointed. Like, you're doing this thing.
I felt
how
like
I feel about any company doing this live service nonsense. See, by the way, that's another one. I tried the live service games, don't like them. So if you come at me with another one, I probably won't like it either. How do you learn you don't like things? You try it first. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, it's I mean, the game has to be good, and I played the original factions, and I wasn't a fan. I understand, to the contrary, a lot of specifically PlayStation Last of Us fans were huge fans of factions. So I don't think they can do anything for me to like it. So yeah, I'm not interested in that. Or in general, any type of multiplayer or free to play multiplayer game for a game that is bread and butter is a single player narrative experience. Yeah, I just steer clear of whenever they're trying to make something that's great in one way and saying, hey, we're trying to do this.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, but between that and the remake kind of one seeming to come so close on the heels of the previous ones, like, I'm just saying, I don't think it's a good look.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be relegated to factions. I don't think it's going to be one of the mainline games.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm just saying, like, I'm not real happy with this whole, like, let's release multiple versions of the game, each one a little bit shinier than the last, and we're going to do a game with a battle pass. Like, yeah.
And Brett, this might be a little bit triggering, but that's how I felt. That's how I felt about Fallout 76 before I knew about the bugs and all that stuff. I'm a huge Fallout fan. I played 3 New Vegas, 4, and then when I heard about Fallout 76, I was like, oh shit, is this the new Fallout? No, it's just Fallout. It's like Fallout multiplayer kind of type of game.
That's why I stay away. I'm like online. No thanks.
Yeah, they fixed it. Adam will attest to that.
Yeah.
No, and it's not even about fixing it. It's like when I want to play,
that's stuff to do in the world.
But like for me, what intrigues me more about Fallout is the story and sort of, going through a single player story for that. And I was pretty open at like co-op campaign, like that type of multiplayer. I would be all in for. But
so there's a story campaign, a single player story campaign.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's not going to be at the level of sort of.
Yeah, it is. That's what I'm telling you. It is a legitimate Fallout game now.
Yeah, it's all there. You don't have to play with anybody else. You can just do the story.
Was it like that at launch?
No.
No.
Well, then that's why if they sold it like that, then I would have been intrigued. But
Well,
they
they
sold
had
it as like a
they had a
world
single player campaign at launch, yes, but they didn't have any NPCs, and that was the death throw for most people. So they went back and they put NPCs and updated the storyline and added a bunch of different storylines and factions, and now it's just a fully fledged Fallout game. It's fucking weird. It's you're playing a Fallout game, and then some other guy just like runs past the road. And you're like, whoa! All right, back to my single player game.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We're gonna end the show with a couple. We still got more questions here, but these are all sponsored questions to end the show. Very interesting.
By Geico.
Yeah. All right. First one is sponsored. Who is this? Eurocar. Sponsoring a Mob Hits question. Do you guys prefer speakers or headphones when playing video games? Speakers.
Speakers.
I prefer speakers, but the time frame of when I play games is sometimes kind of late. So I years ago I used to and me and Chris used to live together. I used to have these sort of like surround sound headphones. So it's sort of both, one or the other. Again, one thing I have to say though about the new consoles, I guess, is just them having the headphone jack and giving you the option to do that initially, instead of having to go buy a pair of fancy surround sound headphones. Definitely is a lot cooler. So yeah, I'm in between worlds.
All right. Who actually uses headphones? Who prefers them, I should say?
Well, with voice chat. With voice chat,
you have to. You have no choice. But I'm talking about when you're just playing the game normally. What do you prefer?
Yeah, speakers.
I know, always headset. I don't like speakers. I don't want to hear everybody playing, especially if I'm playing multiplayer, screaming and playing it. I get thrown in the background. I don't need that.
Wait, what? Who's playing Reggaeton?
Yo, you beating up people throwing in the background? What is this?
They blast.
You making a snuff film or something? What's
they
this?
when I'm playing, if I'm playing FIFA or something, I hear nothing but loud music. Or in Call of Duty.
Wait, is it from your neighbors?
No, it's from the people I'm playing with in the game. They're on their end, whatever they're playing. And then that's pumping out on my speakers. I don't want to hear.
What about when you're playing a single player game?
I'm playing same thing headset. I don't want to hear anything. It's more immersive.
Yeah.
5.1. You hear.
My thing is, I and I think I speak for a lot of us here. I like to just know what's happening around me, so I don't want to have headsets on just cutting me off. What if some shit's happening? Even though headsets are pretty dope, like if you like the way they do the spatial shit is dope, but for me, I need to be aware of what's happening. I'm too paranoid like that. Remember, I'm the type of guy when I go like in a restaurant, I always have to make sure I'm like facing the door. You know what I'm saying,
dude? Yeah. One thing I got to give props for it to Sony is the speaker and the controller, dude. Like speakers, and then you party chat through the controller. It works amazingly well.
Nice, yeah. They did a pretty good job. For me, I it's nothing to do with what Tony mentioned, but I have a surround sound system, so it sounds much better there than it would in a headset.
Oh shit! All right, okay.
For me,
cool. This one is a surprise sponsorship.
Oh,
Riku-san won.
Wait, shit. Is he sponsoring or what's going on?
So he's sponsoring J-Shep's question. I think it's very appropriate that Riku-san is the one that's sponsoring this one.
Oh.
Have any of you played Sonic Frontiers?
No.
Nope.
No.
Not
yet. And our Japanese correspondent to answer this one.
Yes.
Absolutely no interest because 3D Sonic games are trash. So nope.
I mean, I've heard good things.
So have I, but it's still a 3D Sonic game. I've heard good things about sushi too. It's still sushi,
Yeah, so I'm gonna try it. I'm just I'm already playing Grounded and God of War right now, so
yeah. But no interest. Don't care. All right. 2 more sponsor questions. Who is this Romu Death guy? Man, handsome fella. Taking on 2 questions from the fans. This one kind of related to the last one because it's the same company. This one is a one for Mob Hits. Why does Sega neglect the Virtua Fighter franchise so much? I don't know, and it annoys me. Remember, we had this like mini fighting game renaissance in the last couple of years, right? All these old franchises are coming back. You know, Samurai Showdown. We got the new Guilty Gear. All these games are coming back. Where the fuck is Virtua Fighter, the ultimate fighting game? You know, after
I'm pretty
Street
sure there's
Fighter,
only like
obviously.
9 of you guys that want that.
Yeah, I know that, and I'm one of those 9 guys. You know,
Yeah.
but it's like, come on, and then they keep teasing us with this shit, putting Virtua Fighter characters in Tekken and stuff. I think it's just a skin.
And
like,
they re-put out Virtua Fighter 5 again.
Yeah, and
They've been harping.
Yeah, come on.
They've been
man.
harping on that game for every single generation.
That game's more than 10
Since
years old.
3.
Stop it. But where's Virtua Fighter 6? You should have Virtua Fighter 8 by now. You know. So yeah, Sega's fucking around, man. Pisses me off. All right, and the last question. This one's directed at me specifically. Very
What would you
interesting.
do?
Oh, what did I do? This is a good one because it'll shed some light on stuff. Tony, could you give us any insight? And Adam, you can help out with this too, you know? So you do this regularly as well. Tony, could you give us any insight on how video games are reviewed? Some games get strong reviews despite being glitchy, while other games get criticized for their glitchiness, even if they are fun games. Are there any across-the-board rules for reviewers when it comes to critiquing games? No, there are not.
It's whatever you like.
It's whatever you
and
like.
How you see it. Yeah.
I've written reviews for multiple sites. There has never been a rule book. It's whatever, you know, there may be a style guide or something. Like, for example, when I was reviewing for PC Mag, it's like, hey, make sure you talk about the specs, you know, or shit like that. But other than that, the way I've written reviews has not changed, you know, and I don't like, you know, there's no like club or something that like me and Adam go to, like, oh, how are we going to review the games? There's like everybody reviews games on their own, you know, like, so if you get a game before it comes out, obviously you're not talking to anybody else about it. You're playing the game and that's it, right? I will say this though, for me personally, remember, I have my own likes and dislikes, but the thing that always helps me try to be objective, because you can't be objective in a review. If a review is by a person, you're not going to, your biases are going to show regardless. But the question I ask that's helped me a lot is this, right? What is this game trying to do and how well does it do it? Simple as that. This is how I've been able to review games that I don't like and giving them a positive review because, hey, I don't like this game, but it's doing what it's trying to do very well. You know, so that's helped me out a lot. And I've actually mostly given good reviews to games. It's actually very rare when I've reviewed like a terrible fucking game. Like the only 2 reviews that stand out that I'm like, I had to trash the game because it was bad was Metal Gear's Revengeance and Resident Evil 6. Those were just abysmal games, right? Although I will say if I would have re-reviewed Metal Gear, I probably would have given it a little bit better score now because, you know, by answering that question, because it does do what it's trying to do well. But Resident Evil 6 is just trash. That's just a horrible fucking game. You know, there's no redeeming that game. That game is just bad, you know. But yeah, no. So yeah, because I'm glad you asked this question because there are people who think that there's like this like gaming review cabal that everybody gets together and thinks, oh, well, we got to do this, we got to do that. Oh, this. Nope, don't work. Everybody reviews games in a bubble. I have never been on a site that's done things the way other sites do. Everybody's different. Every person's different. So, nope. But I will, and Adam, I'll let you come in here for a second. I will say this though. I know what you're talking about with some of these situations like Cyberpunk, glitchy fucking mess, but it got good reviews. But that's because they manipulated shit, CD Projekt Red, right? They only let reviewers play the game on PC and only the first 5 hours, which was the most optimized.
And they give everyone video cards.
Yeah, you know, that could be another factor right there, too. By the way, that's never affected me. Konami flew me out to review the Contra game. I gave that game a bad review. Because it wasn't good. I gave it, I gave it like a review. So like, yeah, this game's not good, but I see what they're trying to do here. I try to be a little positive, but the game was still bad. I still said, don't buy this shit. Don't waste your money, But yeah, that's my take on it. Adam, what do you have to say?
Yeah, no, I was just say because we got Rich over at the Coalition.
Oh,
He's
yes.
going to put together a whole list of from all the people on the site that we review games that we played, what we recommend people would pick up if they're looking for a gift or something like that. And I told some other guys like, oh, well, number one on my list is WWE 2K22, and they're like, why that's what no Elden Ring, and it's like, well, I didn't play that shit, and that's not something that I would just throw on the list. If somebody is interested in it, I wouldn't even compare them. It's like, it's two different things. This is my likes, things I played, and that's what I'm putting out there. So I'm not going to go with, well, everybody else is saying Elden Ring, everybody else is saying God of War. Yeah, let me throw that up there. No. It's not genuine.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. Get some. Blitz goes, I just seek reviews from sites, people that tend to line up with my taste. That's the way you should do it. That's exactly how
that should go across the board for stuff you support on YouTube or Twitch. Yep. Same shit. It should just be, if you have that interest and you're like, oh wow, I'm not always pissed at this guy, and we see things the same. Then there you go.
Yeah, I've had the opposite too. People tell me, "Oh, Tony, if you like a game, I know I'm not gonna like it," and vice versa. But that's also helpful, so that's fine. You know, that's good. Like, oh, if Tony hates the game, I'm probably gonna like it. Vice versa. Mob Hits asks, "What generation did you enjoy reviewing games the most?" Here's the thing: when I play game, enjoyment isn't a factor. It's maybe after the fact. If I like a game, like, oh, this game's gonna play it afterwards. But because people seem to think like you need to enjoy something you read. No, you don't. You can still be objective about it, So I can't answer that question. It's all been the same, because playing a game for fun and playing a game for review are two completely different things. Like when I'm playing God of War right now, my second playthrough for fun, The first one is just focus. What is this trying to do? How is this working? You
try the other modes that you normally wouldn't try.
Exactly,
you're looking through the settings, you're looking through all this shit. It's like, all right, well, people are probably going to want to know what this mode is like.
Yeah, even things I don't care about. It's like, oh, I got to try this. People want to know about this. I mean, shit. I mean, I reviewed a bunch of like racing games. I don't really care for racing games. I'm mostly giving them positive reviews. Hey, does this racing game work? Great, fantastic. So it's not, reviewing games is pretty easy. It's not that difficult.
From what I've seen, because I've seen people come and go on this, it's all about just sending structure and putting words on paper.
Yeah.
It's just, some people would like, oh, I'll review these, it'd be easy, and then you come back a week later, it's like, oh, what's going on? I don't know.
Ooh, this is a good question.
Some issues, I can't really focus, whatever.
Yeah, and Adam, I want you to answer this question too. I'll go first. Has a publisher ever required you to send them your review of their game before you post them in public? No, and if I ever got that, I would tell them, "Fuck you! I'm not doing that shit." No. So I've never gotten that question, but hypothetically, if I were to be like, "Okay, I'm not going to review your stupid game," then that's here's the thing. My thing is, my reviews are predicated on me being honest. If I do some shit like that, by the way, that doesn't happen, by the way. If anybody accepted that type of deal, they'd be called out and fired instantly. And this is why I say, this is why I trust game reviewers over influencers. Influencers do that shit all the time, and they get away with it. At least, me and Adam, we're held accountable to shit like that, I would ever get an email like, all right, fuck you, no, Go ahead,
no, because the thing about it is just that you want to be able to give an honest impression of what the game is, what you feel the game is. So but
that doesn't happen, by the way, people. Just so you know, that does not happen.
No, it does not happen.
Yeah, for influencers, maybe, who knows? To
be honest, like there was a lot of, as far as influencers goes, there's a lot of mystery. There's a lot of things they need to establish, where there are little videos that are essentially advertisements for the titles that they're doing.
Yeah,
they never said, oh yeah, I was paid by blah 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 to do this.
Yeah.
If Adam ever did that, I'll unfollow him on Facebook.
That's it. I mean, the only things I ever get asked is just to make sure they get a copy once it's posted, so they can see it. They don't ask beforehand; it's afterwards. And that's
all you get. Like, you get a link after the fact. Here you go.
Yeah. They get
Thanks for the review code. that's it.
Pretty much it. I mean,
I think though the one thing though is that I think that a lot of reviews tend to, at least they never go into overtly bashing a title unless it's an egregious title.
Yeah.
Or depending on the publication. If they're big enough if they're big enough, they'll
they're not
they'll get away with
expecting
some
praises all
bashing.
the time, and it's constructive criticism.
Yeah.
That's it. They don't want you to say, "Man, and this part was horrible." Well, what made it horrible? Because you're not just telling the reader, but you're also telling the person, the developers, like, "Hey, this is why it was horrible. There was no checkpoints. I'm spending an hour through, and then something happens, whether I die, disconnect, that's constructive. You can't just say, "Well, this whole section sucked ass." All right, let's move on to the next.
Yeah, that doesn't help. You just say, Adam, Logic Win says he read your review of Dying Light and that helped him pick up the game.
There you go.
There you go.
Another one. And I'm about to say we're in the closing, but Evil West, that's a must buy for anybody that's into like the old school God of War or the Gears of old. That is so gory and so fun, especially when you're playing co-op.
I wouldn't know about God of War. It's a first-person shooting game,
No, it's not.
Isn't it? Evil West?
Evil West it's over the shoulder, third person.
Oh shit! I thought it was a first-person shooter.
Yeah, no. You got this gauntlet, and you zip people over to you, and you just bash them, and you can rip their parts out. They're vampires, it's werewolves, it's people shape-shifting right in front of you, turning into some weird ghoulish shit. Yeah. My review's going up tomorrow morning.
Nice. By the way, I wanted to bring that up because there was one point, I forgot what year it was, but there was one point where I think I reviewed like 6 games in a row where it was all positive. Like, yo, Tony, are you slipping, bruh? Because every game I play was just good. And then I eventually got to review a Mega. I'm like, okay, it's not just me. I just got lucky and got to, even though, because, sometimes you get these kind of meh games you got to review. Thankfully, I'm not in that position anymore because right now I'm not a games like reviewer technically, right? I just review games when I have the chance. So now it's just like I get my pick of the litter. And also I'm in a little bit of a special case because I am the person who's been reviewing the games the longest on the site other than a gaming editor. So like with God of War, none of the other guys were going to get that game. It was going to be me. Like no one's going to go, no, Tony, I want. It's like, because my editor's like, no, I need someone seasoned to review this, and literally it's just me, because with so yeah, but yeah, there's no collusion going on with game reviews. There's none of that craziness. Every reviewer is individual. Every site is individual. There's no like cabal or whatever, and yeah, there's no standard. It's just write a review. That's it. Yeah, we're done, man. Good show. Do we have anything to plug? Manny, I know you have some stuff to plug that may have happened on Throwdown. You're muted.
Yes. So obviously we were away for the holiday, and everybody was, having their time. So I figured, what would be fun if I did a Throwdown draws. So if you go on to the Twitch, currently you will find 2 episodes of Throwdown draws of me drawing a cyberpunk, completing a cyberpunk Edge Runners illustration that I had originally started earlier. So I added Lucy and Rebecca from the show into it. So yeah, so you can watch. Literally, it's a long video. It's a long, one's 3 hours, one's close to 8 hours. So that's the art process. But you can, if you have some time, if you want to watch it. Also, obviously those things are eventually going to be working their way to YouTube. Yeah, so there you go. Throwdown draws.
Good stuff. Adam, you got anything?
Well, Walking Dead's done until Fear comes back next month. Oh, maybe I think. Who knows? But it's early. But that's it. Yeah, we're the I Am Negan podcast is on hiatus now. That's it. Walking Dead is done. But if you want to catch up, it's over on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube.
Me and Rich got into a fight, so I don't know if we ever want to talk to each other.
Cursing, they're still not talking. It's fucking crazy. A lot of cursing. We had to put all these explicit notifications, change our status. So it got rough. But yeah, got that, and that's pretty much it.
Good stuff. All right, man. So we are done here. So make sure you follow Throwdown on Twitch and Twitter. Join the Discord where the conversations and the rumors are always popping. Throwdown Show. You can find us on any podcast app. Those just search for Throwdown Show. Towards Throwdown Show. Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, Samsung, everywhere. We're everywhere. Throwdown Show to listen to previous episodes. And if you've been watching us on YouTube and enjoyed the content, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of when our premieres go live. Links to everything down below. Once again, I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez. You're muted, sir. Manny, say that again. You're muted.
See you next time.
All right. Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Peace out.
Adam Vale.
Check out Evil West, especially if you like the Order. Remember that? This is like as if this. This is as if this is what was happening in the U.S. while that was happening in England. Because it's got the steampunk weapons and all that.
Jake Baldino seems to like it, so
Cool. Yeah. Shout out to Jake Baldino, man. Good guy.
shout out to Jake.
And Brett Murdoch.
Take it easy, people.
All right, people, we'll see you on Thursday. That'll be the last regular show of the year, people. Then after that, we're going to be doing our Game Awards bash.
Game Awards bash.
I do. Do you want to discuss it in the post in this like little in between post show?
Sure.
Real
What's
quick.
up?
So let me just check again. But I'm pretty sure the Game Awards was it December 8th, which is a
That's
Thursday.
Yeah.
It's a normal Thursday. But do we know the time?
Probably 8 o'clock. That's when it usually comes on.
8:00 p.m.
Yeah. Eastern. That's when it usually starts.
Okay. So that'll be perfect then. Then we can just do the show then. And
Yep. Just like we've done it for the past whatever number of years, you know.
for some reason, I thought this was one of the early shows, like in the morning.
No, never. It's never done that.
No, Game Awards is always at night.
Wasn't the Game Awards that they unveiled the Xbox Series X? We weren't expecting it. It
Yeah,
was Game
yeah.
Awards, right?
It was. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were on it. Everyone was on it.
Yeah,
Tony was like, I don't know what the fuck this is.
We should hit up some people to join us that night, man.
Taylor was there. Remember
Taylor was there, you know, our boy David Gilton, and we may have to have
David Gilton?
some people show up. Maybe Rich too, you know.
Yes.
So yeah. Next week, what is it? December 1st, right? That'll be a regular ass show. December 8th, that'll be the Game Awards, and then December 15th, I believe, it'll be the last regular throwdown. You know, the normal show where we go over what happened this year in gaming, and then the AMA Throwdown Your Questions will be the final episode of the year. You know, of the year, people of the year. Because every time I say that, you guys are ending Throwdown. Like, no, bro. Every year, you know, it's hilarious. At least one guy, you guys ending Throwdown. You know,
Hilarious.
crazy.
So with the this year in gaming, what are we going to do with the other 90 minutes?
I don't know. We'll figure something out. The whole show is just gonna be about the Activision Blizzard thing. That happened this year, right? That was announced this year.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah.
That would be probably the main thing. But and the games we like would probably be like, I don't know, 1 or 2 games. This year was
Both of
bad.
them? Wow.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah, both games that we like this year. Whew, this year's been rough, boy. All right, people. We'll see you on Thursday. Later.
Laters.
Peace.